What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of Peppy's Point of View. I am your favorite R&B historian. I am your favorite music critic. I am your favorite host, Peppy, and I want to welcome you back, you returning viewers, you new viewers, and you subscribers. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I know I have been away. I've been away for a month. Oh my gosh, I'm trying not to stay away for so long. I know I miss you guys, and I sure some of you out there miss me as well. But it's good to be back and discussing my favorite R&B divas. And today we have a special treat. We have the queen of soul, Aretha Franklin. And I know, out of all of the divas, like you would think that Aretha Franklin would have been on my top list, right? That I would have covered her. And I'm pretty sure I have. I can't remember if I've covered anything regarding Aretha Franklin. Who knows? Maybe her passing. I talked about that. Now it comes back to me. I do recall I covered maybe something that have to do with her family and their and the what do you call it? Oh gosh, her will. I think I covered that. Yeah, her will, and then I think I covered. Now that I'm thinking about it, David Nathan's the Soulful Divas. David Nathan mentioned something uh about her in his book, The Soulful Divas. Well, I shouldn't say mention something about her. He actually has a chapter. Sorry about that, Mr. Nathan. He has a chapter in his book, The Soulful Divas, and he talks about Aretha Franklin in it, and you can definitely tell from that book, her chapter in that book, that he definitely has a lot of respect for Aretha Franklin. So it was not messy or anything like that. So if that's what you was looking for from that book, then from that chapter, then I'm here to tell you you're not going to find it in that book at all regarding Aretha Franklin, and rightfully so. So anyway, moving right along from that. So I have talked about Aretha Franklin, but I haven't talked about her music. And so there I am, I'm sitting back and I'm thinking about some topics that I could cover. And one man said, "You have not talked about Aretha Franklin's albums, like none of Aretha Franklin's albums." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, let me go ahead on and do that right now." So I checked out her first album on Arista Records, which is her self-titled album, Aretha. I think she has another album out, probably like called Aretha Now, or another Aretha album or something like that. And so uh, we're covering her first album for Arista Records. Now, another thing about Aretha Franklin, I have to say this before I go ahead on and get started, is that uh, for me, I think the reason why I hadn't covered Aretha Franklin in her albums is because 1988, 1989, 1990 is pretty much where I'm centered around. That's when I really start to enjoy my R&B divas, and those divas that really came out at that time, whether they were new or returning divas, with a new project or what have you. And I have to say, I didn't care too much for to cover Aretha Franklin. I just didn't. I mean, I knew she was somewhere around at the time, but I don't know. I just wasn't into Aretha Franklin during the latter part of the 80s. And I'm talking about 88, 89, and 90 and 91. I wasn't just into her like that. So that's the reason why. Now, this Aretha Franklin that I'm covering right now, of course, I'm very much into her and everything like that. And so I think that's another reason why I've been slow moving with Aretha Franklin and some of the other divas that you guys out there probably wondering why I haven't covered them, is because, I stick with a particular era or a particular time or a particular year or a particular topic. And that's the reason why. But hey, I promise you guys, I'm going to get around to it. Yes, I am. So let's just go ahead on and get started because, as I said in my post, in my community post on my YouTube page, I was saying that, oh, I was going to get probably a little bit messy with this one and dish out the dirt, a little bit with this one. Sometimes I'm not, but it's Aretha Franklin, and it's not has nothing to do with talking about her personal life as much as I am talking about some things related to music. And as I said before, disclaimer out there, I stick with the albums. I do album reviews, and if it has something to do with the album, then I just might dish out the dirt on who dropped kicked who in these entertainment streets, literally and figuratively speaking. And I think this time around I can do that with Aretha Franklin. Okay, and also too, Divas with Books. Thank you guys so much out there for supporting Divas with Books as far as the videos are concerned. And yes, I get around to doing something with that book club. I've been working on a lot of things behind the scenes, believe it or not. And sometimes you just got to let some things, you got to make sure your seasoning is right, and you got to measure this a little bit and take some of this out and put some of this back in. You know what I'm saying? Before you present a lot of things to people. So trust me, I'm working on a lot of things, and I've learned how to be patient and wait on the Lord. And so that's what I am doing. So Divas with Books, Joyce Fenderalla Irby's book, I Still Say Yes, Faith Evans, Keep the Faith, Gladys Knight, Between Each Line of Pain and Glory, and David Nathan, The Soulful Divas. Okay. Now, what do we know about Aretha Franklin's album? Okay. Aretha is the 26th, wow, 26th studio album by Aretha Franklin. It was released on September the 30th, 1980 by Arista Records. This is Franklin's second uh, album to be titled Aretha, but this is her first on Arista Records after a 12-year tenure with Atlantic Records. The first single from this album uh, was United Together. It reached number 3 on the Soul chart and crossed over to number 56 on the Billboard's Hot 100. The album itself peaked at number 47 and spent 30 weeks on the Billboard album chart. All right, and this album was produced by Chuck Jackson. That's right. Leave a little star right beside that name. That's why I said I'm gonna get messy. Chuck Jackson was the producer on this album, as well as Arif Martin or Mardin. I know I butchered that man's name. I hope he's not, turning over in the grave every time I try to pronounce his name. I'm gonna do right by you, Arif, I promise. But I just love to say Arif Mardin. And also Aretha Franklin. Now, I have to tell you this, and I just have to, only talk about my own experience with this. For those of you out there who are new to what it is that I do over here, I'm just going to say it one more time just so that I can clear some things up. And that is what I do over here is I do album reviews. I go in and yes, I listen to the album. I don't just sit there and just kind of thumb through it. I listen to the album. I just get a feel for every song. I go into I'm learning to pull back the onion, pull back the layers now as it relates to music. I'm not just necessarily looking for a hit song on the albums like I would do in the past as a music buyer, but I actually listen to the music. Okay, I listen to the songs, and I just get a feel for what it is that they were, trying to do in the lab. And was it a hit or was it a miss? All right, I understand that people are people. This is their product, it's their work. They put their time, money, and creativity into these things. So I understand some people can be sensitive about their ish, but I promise you, I try my best to handle it with integrity and authenticity. So I do my thing. I don't necessarily listen to other people's commentary about certain things. I do that now because I like to stick with a particular flow, a particular style that I think works for me. And if it's just so happened that I share the opinion of someone else, then wonderful, isn't it? But otherwise, it is what it is, you know. Do I like to, collaborate with people and what have you? Yeah, from time to time that does pop up, so on and so forth. But it is what it is. 10 minutes in, and let's get right down to it. So listening to the first track called "Come to Me," I was saying to myself, I was like, I know this intro. This intro sounds familiar to me, and I'm still trying to figure out where I heard this intro. But I know I've heard this intro before. I don't know if it's another Aretha Franklin song, but it's something about the intro that makes me go, I've heard this before. So "Come to Me." I really don't have anything to go by with this first song, "Come to Me." I don't know what to think because this is Aretha Franklin and the songs on the album I've never heard before. So I'm wondering, am I going to get Aretha Franklin, rock steady Aretha Franklin? Am I going to get Free Will Love Aretha Franklin? Like, what am I going to get with this Aretha Franklin's album? And hearing "Come to Me" for the first time, I'm saying, okay, I've never heard Aretha Franklin this way. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. I've never heard her this way. And I'm saying, if I have to compare it to something, I'm saying, oh my gosh, this is, and you guessed it, Gladys Knight. I'm like, hey, Aretha, I think you sound a little bit like Gladys Knight on this track. This is definitely a song that Aretha Franklin um, uh, probably, kind of pulled from the Gladys Knight catalog. Gladys Knight would eat this song up. She would. And I like it. I like what Aretha Franklin is doing. I like the thought of Gladys Knight possibly, could cover this song. And then as I'm listening to it more, I'm saying to myself, like, oh my gosh, I get another feel. I'm getting another feel of someone who I think could do well with this song. And if you said Anita Pointer, that's right, Anita Pointer of the Pointer Sisters. The Pointer Sisters would eat this song up too. And I think I hear rather Anita singing lead on this song. Um, and this song is produced by Chuck Jackson. Remember, I told you to put a star by Chuck Jackson's name. Well, that's what I want you guys to do. Put that star. Why? Because Chuck Jackson, if you're not familiar with this guy, he is Natalie Cole's songwriter and producer. That's right, Chuck Jackson and Marvin Yancey. Marvin Yancey, the husband of Natalie Cole, and I think the father of their child. They had a child together. And so, yeah, that Chuck Jackson. So when I heard this, I said, okay, Natalie Cole. So now let's get a little bit of messy here. Well, how are we going to get a little bit messy here? And how are we going to dish out the dirt on who dropped Kick 2 in these entertainment streets? The reason why I say this is because I feel like this is how I want to say it. Natalie Cole, it's no secret. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. Oh gosh, y'all making me tired. So now I got to say allegedly. This is where I get alleged. So allegedly, there was a lot of competition between Natalie Cole and Aretha Franklin. When Natalie Cole came onto the scene, yes, she came onto the scene, and I would like to think that yes, people were putting her against Aretha Franklin, right? And I get the feel that it was kind of like it could have been Natalie Cole and Aretha Franklin, and then it could have been Natalie Cole and Shaka Khan. And I'm talking about now as far as sound. Because if you think about it, and I'm sure you guys will agree with me, and if you stayed this far in my commentary, I appreciate it. Because this, now that I'm thinking about it, and it's just flowing out of me, I get the feel that Natalie Cole was a diva to be reckoned with now. I do. I just get this feel that Natalie Cole was no joke, ladies and gentlemen. And what I mean by no joke is because you have Natalie Cole out, right? Before Shaka Khan became a solo artist. So Shaka Khan is already out, but Natalie Cole is coming out, and you can easily say that Natalie Cole sits sits comfortably between Shaka Khan and Aretha Franklin. Like that's where Natalie Cole is. And why I say she sits comfortably between these two is because that just shows how in and out Natalie Cole is, like how versatile this diva is, and like and a lot of people, what's the word I want to say? No one really mentions Natalie Cole's name when we're talking about these powerhouse vocal type divas. But if you really truly just sit down and think about it for a second, then you would get to understand that Natalie Cole is somebody who can just, as I said, switch in and out of different genres of music and do it well. Now we know, and a lot of people say, "Well, oh yeah, well, the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, do that too. She's done jazz, she's done gospel, she's done pop, she's done R&B, did R&B things, so on and so forth." And that proves my point. That proves my point. But Natalie Cole, to me, she's just cut differently, right? I think, like I said, I think she's both. I think she has a little bit of Shaka Khan in her, and I think she has a little bit of Aretha Franklin in her, and I think she has a little bit of herself, inside of her as well. But where am I going with this? I know I kind of, went off on a tangent like I do. That's why I'm letting this one flow, because this is Aretha Franklin. We got to let this thing flow. So the reason why I'm saying saying the things that I'm saying is because during this time, it's 1980, and what is happening? Natalie Cole's career and Aretha Franklin's career is pretty much hitting a slump, right? It's hitting a slump. Aretha Franklin, for whatever reason, creatively, she and Atlantic Records are about to part ways, right? They're about to part ways. And as you would know, Aretha Franklin is probably, like most people saying, okay, I got to, revitalize my career. I got to move on. Thank you, Atlantic. I got to move on. I got some things I got to do here. As far as my career is concerned, and she finds herself over at Arista Records. And what is interesting about this album, and being that this is Arista Records, Clive Davis Arista Records, what I'm also now thinking about is, why did Clive Davis not kind of put her in the lane of, how do I want to say it, if you will? Um, More of a contemporary pop type style of music, right? He didn't do that to her, right? When you think about this album and you think about the production of this album and everything like that, you would probably think that there was not a lot of attention from Clive Davis with this album. Even though we know that Clive Davis is definitely hands on, with picking songs. But I get the feel that he's just not doing that with her on this particular album. Could it be it's her first album and they just pretty much trying to see, what will and what doesn't work? But here's the reason why I'm saying I'm being a little bit messy. I'm being a little bit messy, or ditching out the dirt on who dropped kick two in these entertainment streets, because I find it ironic that Chuck Jackson shows up on this album. And in my head, I'm wondering, okay, wait a minute. First of all, this is Aretha Franklin and Natalie Cole. That's the competition. It's the competition. In my head, I'm saying to myself, like, wait a minute. How did Aretha Franklin hook up with Chuck Jackson for this album? Who reached out to him to produce this album? And why? I'm going somewhere. Another thing that I'm thinking about is why is Chuck Jackson no longer working with Natalie Cole? Okay. So I'm like, this is getting to be interesting. And then in my head, I'm saying, well, it's probably because of the things that are happening in Natalie Cole's personal life. You already know, she talked about, her abuse with certain things, certain substances and all of that stuff. All right. Moving on from that. So I'm wondering, is it like, okay, man, hey, I'm out the door, this here is, this partnership collaboration is no longer working, with Natalie, Chuck, and Marvin. So, they pretty much have parted ways. So Chuck Jackson, now shows up with Aretha Franklin, who is her competition. So it's almost kind of like I could see in Chuck Jackson's head, probably like, wow, I get to work with Aretha Franklin. I mean, the things that I've been doing with Natalie, so on and so forth. I mean, it is opening up opportunities for me to do other things. So why would I not want to, work with the Queen of Soul, So you can't knock him from doing that. But I'm thinking in my head that, oh gosh, allegedly in my head, this is me. Aretha Franklin is the messy one. I'm sorry, that's it. I said it. I know I had to get it all out of me to get there to that point. I'm thinking that Aretha Franklin is a messy one. Why do I feel like Aretha Franklin is a messy one? I mean, it's no secret. Like most people are aware that Aretha Franklin does not do well with women. Okay, like I don't know if she really truly has a bestie as far as a female friend is concerned. And I know a lot of people probably say, well, Sissy Houston, this, that, and the other, Whitney Houston, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And yeah, that might possibly be true, but we just don't know, out of respect for, as Whitney would say, Auntie Riri, out of respect, I just don't know. I mean, I, I, I'm gonna leave it alone. Maybe I have to come back to that. We have a lot of Aretha Franklin albums to cover, so there's a lot of things that I can, kind of, research and look into, for this Aretha Franklin thing. Moving right along. Yes, I'm thinking that she's being messy because Aretha Franklin is probably trying to say, all right, I got the opportunity to, really, do a get back with Taurus, Natalie Cole. Here's the thing, Natalie Cole is really hot at the time, before her career started to go into the slump, during the late 70s, early 80s, right? She had about a 5 or 6 year, slump, as far as her album sales were concerned. And I could see Aretha using this as the perfect opportunity because, Aretha Franklin, as I said, is probably waiting in the background to, get her get back. And she, gets her get back by working with Chuck, you know, and in this roundabout certain way, I'm not saying Aretha Franklin is stealing, taking, embellishing Natalie Cole's style, but when I listen to this album, I know y'all, I'm still on the first song, Come to Me, and all of this is flowing out of me. I'm listening to this album and I'm saying to myself, oh my gosh, this is a Natalie Cole's album. This is a Natalie Cole album. This is Natalie Cole. I don't care what no one says. Natalie Cole, this was your album. All of this album screams Natalie Cole. It says nothing about Aretha Franklin. It doesn't. This was Natalie Cole's album. Chuck Jackson gave Aretha Franklin Natalie Cole's album. I'm sitting back listening to it. I'm jamming. I'm loving this album so much so. And I'm like, Aretha, you are messy, baby. I don't know if you really did it intentionally or not, but this album is Natalie Cole. Okay, get it out the way. Oh my God. But at the same time, Natalie, as I said, Aretha Franklin has, she looks like, from a career standpoint, she's probably had some beef with Natalie Cole, and she's had some beef with Patti LaBelle, and I am going to bring some of that up more in my commentary as I go further and listening to some of Aretha Franklin's albums. But I will say this. But she also probably had some beef with like I said, Patti LaBelle, but also too, there's another diva that I'm thinking about, and that is I'm not quite sure about Shaka Khan though. And then when I was thinking about it, I was saying to myself, I was like, one thing for sure. Aretha Franklin did not want any smoke probably with Shaka Khan. She probably could handle, deal with the smoke from Natalie Cole and deal with the smoke probably from Patti LaBelle. But I'm like, baby, Aretha Franklin probably did not want any smoke with Aretha Franklin. I mean, vocally and probably personally. That's all I believe right. This one here is hilarious to me. I don't know why. But anyway, moving right along. So I got some of my favorite divas that I'm talking about. And I guess this is the reason why I'm loving it so much. Natalie Cole, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, and Shaka Khan. Come on now, you guys. Y'all know I'm in music land right now. I'm just loving this. So then I get to the second song, I Can't Turn You Loose. And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, okay, I hear you. I'm digging this. I'm liking this. This is a song you can definitely cut a rug to, get your thing, get out on the dance floor, shake your tail feather. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. And it's definitely within Aretha's energetic style, right? And the song begins to rub off on you. And here's someone else. When I listened to this song, and I was listening to it, I was like, Sylvester. That's right. The Devo himself, Sylvester, would eat this song up. I got to look and see if Sylvester ever performed this song at all, because he would snatch wigs with this song, Sylvester. All right. Yeah, the disco Devo himself. And you better believe I Can't Turn You Loose is on repeat, right? I'm saying repeat. But anyway, going to the next single or next song, United Together. And as I said before, I think I've heard the intro to this song before, and I'm loving it. And then as I'm listening to it and it starts to play, there I go again saying, this is Natalie Cole. United Together is a Natalie Cole track. Shame on you, Aretha Franklin. And as I said, it just proves that Natalie Cole was a threat. And then I'm listening to it again, and I'm saying, towards the end, I'm like, oh my gosh. Towards the end of this song, United Together, I'm like, oh my gosh, those background vocals. I'm like, who is that singing those background vocals at the end of this song? And then it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh. The Jones Girls. I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds so much like the Jones Girls. And I wasn't looking at any credits, so I had to go and look up the credits just to make sure I was right when I was saying this sounds like the Jones Girls. Come to find out, I was absolutely wrong. It was the Sweet Inspirations, and it was Sissy Houston in the game. And I'm like, y'all sound just like the Jones Girls, or the Jones Girls sounds just like y'all. But it doesn't matter. Those background vocals, when those ladies get to singing at the end of that song, I'm saying to myself like, ting, ting. Love it. Love it, love it, love it so much. United Together. Take Me With You. Love it. Whatever it is, love it. And then I hear a song called What a Fool Believes. Now, I'm saying this song is kind of disco-ish. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, it's 1980. You can still do a little bit of the disco. It sounded a little bit disco-ish to me. And then come to find out that the song is actually a Doobie Brothers song. And the music critics are saying that this was like the first non-disco song, at the time when disco was taking over. And so I'm like, the Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald? I was like, I got to definitely check this song out. So I have to check out this song as far as the Doobie Brothers are concerned, because I want to hear what this song sounds like. But then there my messy self go again. Y'all messy, I know. Because I was like, wait a minute, the Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald. When didn't Michael McDonald and Patti LaBelle sing On My Own together? Didn't they do that on my own? You see where I'm going with this, don't you? So that's why I'm saying to myself is that there was a lot of sneakiness going on at the time. These ladies, and they could say that, oh no, I'm not paying that diva any attention. She's nothing to me. Like I'm just being myself, and I'm just being me, and all of that stuff. And then there are show enough, show enough looking at what the other is doing, waiting for that moment to say, okay, let me, do a little something with this too. Okay, I see what you're doing over there, Aretha. All right, Aretha saying, I see what you're doing over there, Natalie Cole. I see what you're doing. I'm going to mimic, I'm going to copy this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And at the same time say, I ain't even feeling you, diva. You ain't got nothing on me type stuff. And look at what's happening. Like right up in here. You see what I'm saying? Well, child, but they love to say, I know. I'm just about to say I'm gonna be messing with this one. This one's gonna be messy. I know. I got the feeling. I'm sorry, y'all. Woo! But like I said, it's always about a feel. So if I feel it, let's do it. But I love the song. I do. And that's what I'm saying. And when you get to, and we're still talking about what a fool believes, the Doobie Brothers, blah, blah, blah. So when you get to the 3 minute and 30-minute mark of this song, oh my gosh, I love the breakdown in this song. The 3 minute and 33 seconds in this song is on repeat. Like I just go back and listen to that part because I'm like, I'm so feeling this. But now, as I said before, Chuck Jackson is out. Chuck Jackson is no longer working with Natalie Cole in 1976. And that album is I Love You So. Okay. And then what ends up happening is that Chuck Jackson, and I know somebody said, wait a minute, what you talking about Chuck Jackson again? Yeah, I am. I'm going somewhere. And so Chuck Jackson shows up again with Natalie Cole on her album titled I'm Ready. But it clearly shows that she wasn't ready and Chuck Jackson was out again. And so now we have Together Again, which is another Natalie Cole song. And I'm sure at this moment in time, as I'm getting to the end of this album, right? It's 9 tracks on the album. I'm at listening to track 7, and I'm saying to myself, like, this is my favorite song on the album. It's not only my favorite song on the album, but it's my favorite repeat song on the album. Okay. I love Together Again. It streams Natalie Cole. And I'm saying to myself, and I have to look, and I'm going to see if anybody at the time a music critic out there said that, hey, wait a minute, you sound like this is Natalie Cole's album. Then there's another song, Love Me Forever. It is what it is. And then School Days. Oh my gosh, I love School Days. Woo! I love School Days. I just love it. It's fun. It's whimsical. It's a serious track, but at the same time, the way is the way it was produced, you're not to take it too seriously, but it's fun. I mean, like I mean, it was just cleverly written. I mean, Aretha Franklin, if I'm not mistaken, wrote this one, didn't she? Did she write this one? I'm gonna have to go back and see, but I think this is an Aretha Franklin song. If anything, she produced it. I think she wrote it as well. And if she wrote it, I'm going to assume that maybe she produced it as well. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to assume that she produced it since she wrote it School Days. And I'm here to tell you, like as far as songwriting is concerned, like I would say that Aretha Franklin definitely, showed her songwriting skills. I'm just talking about the way in which she crafted the song, the lyrics, the music, the melody, all of that. I just think she did a great job. I just love it, and it's another favorite song of mine. But as I said, I have my repeat songs, but I also have the songs that I love. And this is a song I just love, and I love it for my own personal reasons. It's a song that I can, I don't know, have just have fun with this song. Yeah, you got to be in a fun, easygoing mind frame when you're listening to this, a carefree mind frame, like nostalgic, so to speak, mind frame. And I don't know why I'm thinking another night when I'm listening to this song, but anyway, it is what it is. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You have Aretha Franklin's 1980 uh, Aretha album on Aleister Records for the first time, and I must tell you, I think I give this song album a solid. Uh, a solid, I want to say it's a B plus. It's a B album. It's not an A album. I say it's somewhere between a B minus. I'm not even going to give it a B plus. I'm going to give it a B or a B minus album, ladies and gentlemen, simply because I still can't pinpoint and say that's the hit on this album. I just know it is a Natalie Cole album. I don't know if some of these songs were songs that were intended for Natalie Cole and Chuck just kind of, pulled them out, of the vault and, called in another writer to help him rewrite some things and things like that. I don't know what Chuck did when he came across this album, if you will, for Natalie Cole, but I'm still going to say it is definitely, an album that is worth listening to. I enjoyed it a lot, and it is what it is, and I got to go in and listen to the next Aretha Franklin album because I guess that's where I am, ladies and gentlemen. I am talking about Aretha Franklin, okay? We're going to be talking about her and her albums. So get ready. So if you made it this far in my commentary, I think it's only appropriate for me to say, hey, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button, leave a comment, all of that stuff. I appreciate you guys so much. I really and truly do. My motto over here is simple. Put your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, she says, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I look forward to seeing you next video. Until then, you should know what to do by now. Take care of you. All right. Talk to you later.